Bottom left of Cloud Kingdom, we have our Terran player, and this is the one player who doesn't have to face himself. I try to pull a joke, it doesn't work. His ID is
Samsung Reality.
Does reality ever have to face reality? Does that work?
Yeah, actually it will.
Well, might have to face it today. To the top right, we have his opponent. Really strong player starting for Team Liquid, and his ID is
Liquid Hero.
we have another hero.
The other thing to note about the way that Hero has dyed his hair is that, well, Holdot thought, since we have some fans here cheering for Liquid Hero, and you know, with the way that he's dyed his hair, if he cuts it, it'll make it more evident that it's dyed, so he'll have to re-dye it if he cuts it, or he's going to have to let it grow really long before he can actually begin to start cutting it properly. So we may see Hero with really long hair in the future. Not really long, but his hair is already decently long, especially for a Korean. But he may go a little bit Nalra style here, a little bit old school, get his hair going really long and then dye it black again. I think he might do that. That's something I could see Hero doing.
Every time I hear how many problems are actually involved with hair, the more I actually am happy about my decision to shave my head.
Well, I think it looks good for you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to tell you. I don't know if I ever told you that before, but actually probably about 1,000 times. But I think it's a good look for you.
Top right, guys, now Terran versus Protoss. We have Hero currently with his cybernetics core building, and the scouts out on the map. Both of them sending one of their workers, having a quick look here. And it looks like Reality is starting things off with a Reaper here, starting already with the tech lab at his expansion. And I'm pretty excited about what Reality is going to do, because he is a player that we've seen. He was actually the only Casper player who won one of the qualifiers.
Yes.
So will this be his last day at the WCS Korea, or will he be able to advance?
That is the question. And Reaper Expand here is going to be pretty viable. We saw Polt actually do this the other day against Seed. That was yesterday, in fact. And even though he did not win the game, it gave him all the information he needed. He followed up with a timing attack off of one base. I wonder if Reality will follow this up with 3 barracks, or if he's going to... Well, obviously he's getting Command Center first, but I wonder what sort of follow-up he's going to do with this. Obviously you can get very fast stim with this type of expand. He goes for Marauders and Concussive Shells, though, instead.
And as it just mentioned, Polt, he's actually the player that the winner of this best of 3 is going to face. And Polt was not too happy about losing in the winner's bracket against Seed. Was a little bit upset. And Hero, being true to his style, starting things off here with a Twilight Council, which is actually a little bit uncommon against Terran, because you're always afraid that you might be hit with a Banshee attack. And if that's the case, then it's pretty hard for you to pull it off. Hero's most likely going to build another, a robotics facility nonetheless, because he wants the Observer. He's probably going for a blink build here.
Hero is all about the blinking right now, I started to notice. I think he is definitely going to go for blink and not DTs based on his gas timing. But this Reaper is so critical, because not only is it forcing the probes away here, and he will get 1 kill, but he sees a Twilight Council. That's exactly what this Reaper is for scouting. And he sees it. And what will Hero do next? Will he actually commit to the blink? It looks like he wants to go Dark Shrine because he hasn't started blink yet. And DT expand a very old build, and his Dark Shrine is delayed because he had to pull his probes out of gas. This is starting to look very uncomfortable for Hero here. His Nexus is so late as well. The Command Center is already done for Reality.
Here comes the Dark Shrine now. No link whatsoever. No, he goes for the DT build, as we already now found out. But at this point, it's definitely something that Reality will at least kind of know about, and therefore also the engineering bay on the production tab. So he wants to make sure that he has the opportunity to get a missile turret. And this is a very uncomfortable spot for you. You could actually see that he pulled every single probe to make sure that the one Reaper does not get into position.
I would actually expected him to pull the probes towards the Reaper to make sure it didn't see the Twilight Council, but you're right, man. The turret's already started. Now, Hallucination is the choice here. I was going to say he's going to have to get that, because he knows that since the Twilight Council has been spotted, there's no way in hell he sends a DT through the natural. He's going to have to use a Pylon and a Warpin into the main. That's exactly what this probe is going over for right now at this moment, and he actually does not stop it with the SCP. He sees it, but he's not going to go and check for the Pylon. Now, DT Warpin into the main could be a problem for Reality, who has not made any turrets there. He does have double orbital, but he's not saving any scans right now, and he's only got the turret at his ramp.
I really want to see if Hero can pull this off. Reality so
far
played really map aware, and he used the scan. He was not afraid to invest the energy in order to confirm this. So now we have the SCV dying, but the probe is still in position. Can he actually make this work? It doesn't really look like Reality has anything in position that could spot the pylon. And then we will have the hallucination. He will warp onto the high ground, and then things go sour for Reality.
2 scans saved, though. He actually decides to save them. And that's going to be critical in this defense.
The question is for how long?
Yeah, and the Phoenix flies across the map. This gives him high ground vision. He'll give it for just a second, but that's all that Hero needs. 2 DTs being warped in. Needs to split these extremely well. And he's not going to be able to stop the research of Stim because it's already finished. And he starts to split the DTs right away here.
And here comes the army. Moving in, he's actually in vision of one of the missile turret, loses 1 DT. A little bit unfortunate here. This means that right now Reality needs only 1 single scan to take down the second Templar.
The reactor unfortunately blocks out the bioforces for now. And he's trying to find a sweet spot. He uses 1 scan to kill a DT to the top right, which he was able to see very carefully with a really nice vision of his naked eye.
And another one is now to the right side of the map, warping, making sure that he has vision with the pylon and can warp in another one. So those DTs are starting to be really annoying, especially because Reality is slowly but steadily running out of energy on his orbitals.
Yeah, but he will get this turret up now, and Hero's attack did very minimal damage.
Yeah, he killed 9 SCVs. It's not too shabby, but it's definitely not great if you consider how many resources, how much resources he actually invested into this. Loses another Dark Templar because he's in the range of the missile turret.
Yeah, and this DT attempts to sneak out. He's actually not going to be able to go down the ramp, but he's going to have to use another scan to kill it. Which, when you're ahead in workers like Hero is, you know, the mules are important. That's something you just mentioned. But when you have to use so many scans, then suddenly you're not using those mules, and so that's no longer a factor.
Especially because the Terran player has basically from the start a lower harvester count than a Protoss, because you have to invest the extra time that you need in order to upgrade your command center into an orbital. You make up for it by using mules, and then you can just make sure that you get even in the worker supply. But this is something that Reality couldn't do for the reasons mentioned. He had to use all this energy on so many scans. Hero is now following everything up with double upgrades with his blink and getting those 4 gateways that we just saw a second earlier. So let's see how Reality is going to deal with this. He has his tech and he's going for the Medivacs right now, but this is definitely getting a little bit iffy.
Yeah, I like that he sends a DT out again. I think he warped in maybe too many DTs in the main, but forced another scan here. And attacking at the natural is ironically what would have been more effective because of the way the turret was placed. He didn't really have vision of the second mineral line. Tries to take the watchtower. Yeah, he gets scanned and killed, but it's another scan used. And now he knows the army is moving out as well, which is very critical. Because he doesn't have a lot of units right now. He needs a few more seconds. He needs to get these warp gates that he's powered up in his main base up and ready.
One of the things that he has not started is, by the way, combat shield. That's something that we don't see for Reality yet. He's getting those armor upgrades, but I think he forgot about the upgrade.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's no combat shields in Brugor. There's a U-238 shell upgrade, but no combat shields, man. He scans. He wants to grab these sentries that are very exposed right now. Even force shields are not going to be very helpful, and he gets in with the Marines. A nice pull-up here.
Takes down a few of the sentries, but not all of them. Has to be very careful. Only 2 sentries left. Can he actually stim in again? He needs to be careful with his units. Overstimming would be a big problem here. And still no combat shield upgrade for Reality.
Yeah, that would have helped him so much in that fight. And he still hasn't even started. You're right. Right now, though, the upgrades are going to be even at 1-1 for both players. His +1 armor finishes up for Reality. But at this literally moment, Hero's already started 2-2, and he is ahead. Makes another DT. It's going to be very annoying to deal with. And without combat shields, a DT with +1 against just +1 armor will one-shot a Marine still.
Yeah, exactly. So Reality actually found himself in a decent position, but right now he is falling behind, and if he doesn't realize very soon that he's still lacking an upgrade, then things might go very, very bad for him very soon, because the problem is just he can't make those Marines really work. He's playing really Marauder heavy right now, with 12 only producing Marauders now, but still, this is a little bit uncomfortable.
He takes out another DT with a scan, but that's another scan used, and the DT also killed a Marine. So, I mean, that's sort of trade starts to become really effective when there's no combat shields on the map. And there still are not even started yet. This is a big mistake by Reality for getting combat shields here. This is absolutely a mistake.
He doesn't find an opening, though. This is one of the problems that he also has. SCV train is coming here as well.
He really wants to end this game now.
He watched a couple of Nama games. Moving in now with what he has. Immediately the force fields there. Spot on. The Stalkers blink back. The Zealot's still exposed.
DT is in this mix as well. The Photon Cannon actually very helpful to add some extra DPS here for Hero. And with no combat shields, the Marines just cannot last as long as they normally would. The Stalkers starting to really tear through them here.
But Hero just doesn't have the army supply at this point. This is going to be a problem for him.
The DT is so important here.
Yeah.
One-shotting any Marine at base is really starting to take out these Marauders.
Reality really had a tough time here, and he was so far ahead in army supply, but Hero is just in the better position with all the units that he has. The upgrade advantage is now kicking in with +2/+2. Didn't even need it in the fight, but now of course is playing into his hand very nicely.
And just watch that DT one-shot a Marine. Every time that happens, man, in that last fight where he did not scan, that was so much damage done because a Marine that's getting healed by a medevac is a scary one, but when a DT one-shots every single Marine it runs into, the medevac's no longer matter. GG.
Reality for